Welcome to our virtual yoga today, the second week in. If you'd like to begin in a chair, that's always an option. We're going to be here in a seated position for maybe up to about 10 minutes. We'll start with some warm-ups, and we're going to gear towards doing a few rounds of the Sun Salutations today. All right, so just getting yourself settled, making sure you've got all that you need. And we'll take a few moments just to see how we're feeling today. You can start by closing your eyes and starting to bring your focus inward, scanning your body. And you can do a scan from the inside out. And again, you can start with the top of the head. And just flowing your awareness down and through your body like liquid light flowing through your whole body. Travel all the way down to your seat, to your hips, through your legs and out through your feet. Imagine that your foundation is rooting down, so wherever you feel connection to your mat, just let that root down a little bit deeper. Visualize roots moving down through to the earth. And those roots connect us to the earth energy they provide for us. The nurturing, stabilizing, supportive energy. And from the root, and right from the root of your torso, just come right up again, this time up. Right through that central channel of illumination, right through, up through the belly, right up to the heart. Stay at the heart center for a few breaths. Just nice, soft breaths. And then bring your awareness all the way up to the crown of your head and out through the crown of your head. And see if you can begin to become more aware of your whole body here, sitting here in this moment. Feeling your breath, listening to the sound of your breath. And we'll start to deepen it for a few breaths. So this time as you inhale, next time sink it down a little bit more. Gather more energy inwardly. Feel your ribs open. And pause before you exhale. And then slowly release it out, and maybe out through your mouth. Let's do that again. This time you may want to place your hands around your ribs so you can really feel your body open up here with your breath. And then pause and hold for 2 to 3 seconds, a comfortable length. And then you're going to exhale and let it all out slowly. Feel your body release physically as well. We'll do that one more time. So inhale deep and widen through your ribs. Pause and hold. Think of anything that you need to let go of. Anything that feels stuck, it's been dragging you down, and just release it with your breath. Good. And you can do that anytime throughout the day, whenever you need to, whenever you feel like your body is holding on to a lot of stuff. It could be emotional stuff. You could experience a lot of feelings and also thoughts that are bringing you away from your happiness, and you just want to, you can process that and figure out if you need to figure something out from it, but also just to help it flow through your body like water, not get lodged or stuck in the tissues of our body. It's good to do a few rounds of that breath anytime. So now let's start to gently warm up the body, and we're just gonna loosen up right at the head and the neck. So a few circles, half circles if you wish. And then we'll start to just gently bring your head to the side and hold it there for a moment. You can bring your hand up, your other hand down. And then you're slowly going to release that and bring your head gently to the other side. You can take that other hand down. Gently, you're just slightly increasing the stretch with your hand on your head. And then we'll slowly release that. Give our shoulders a few rolls. Helps releasing any tension there, especially on this, if you've kind of a nice thing about the virtual program today is that you can stay where it's warm and cozy. But if you've been out at all today, it makes your shoulders want to lift to the ears. So just starting to release any of that. All right. Let's bring the hands up onto the shoulders for a moment and just do a little bit of a slight twist from side to side. Just a nice, easy, gentle movement here, nothing big. Coming back to center, and then just a little more of a rolling. This really helps to open up the shoulders. So let's go in the opposite direction a few times. All right, and just shaking that out. Shake out right through the arms, right through the hands. We're going to bring our legs out of this cross-legged position, and you can bring the soles of your feet together. If you're on a chair, no worries. You can stay where you are. And for now, we're just going to reach the arms up with the next inhalation. And on your exhalation, let's take the hands back. And so the hands are behind you, and you're starting to lift and open through your chest. And ultimately opening through your heart center. You can close your eyes here and just really feel this out, tuning back into your breath. Doing whatever feels good, and then slowly releasing on your own time. Remember to go at your own pace. You don't have to follow me. Exactly, please. And then bring your arms up on your next breath in. And we're going to come forward. And again, we're just starting out here, so you don't have to go too far. We'll hold this for a breath or two. And then we'll slowly come back up. Again, this time reaching your arms out to the sides and back. With your next exhalation, bring your hands around, connect your hands together, and just pull through your arms to stretch a bit deeper in your upper back. And then reaching your arms up and releasing. Good. We're going to take the legs out of that position, widen the legs out to the sides. And again, chair, don't worry too much about this, but you can widen your feet a little bit on the floor. Shake your legs out, roll out through your ankles a few times. And then reach your arms up on your next breath in. And on your breath out, we're just going to come over one side for a moment. Next breath in, come up. And next breath out, flowing to the other side. Just a gentle stretch for your legs. And again, if you're on the chair, you can still do this one. Just leaning over to one side. Good. We'll do that for a few more breaths. Remember, please follow your own breath. And you have a lot of freedom, liberty at home. You don't have to do exactly what I do. And you don't have to feel self-conscious about it. So we'll come back to center and then releasing the arms. And let's bring the legs straight out in front, but let's bend the left knee and just sit up nice and tall. We're going to go into a twist. This will be our last position here. So again, seated on the chair is just fine for this pose. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We'll reach the left arm straight up, and then we're going to bring it behind. And you can hold on to the back of the chair. You can bring your arm around the other leg. Depending on where you're at, you could also bring your elbow to the outside of your knee. Just starting out, again, very gently. We'll stay here for one more breath. And then we'll slowly release. Coming back to center. Both legs out in front, bringing the other knee in, foot on the floor. Just take a moment with your hands around your knee if you're there to sit up nice and tall. Reaching up through the right arm. And then we'll take that hand behind and come into the twist gently. Again, if you'd like to, you can bring your elbow on the outside of your knee. Pausing here for 2 more breaths. Go to where you feel your breath in your body, where you feel this pose the most, and then slowly unwind, come back to center. We'll bend both knees for a moment. If you'd like to, this is optional. You can do a little bit of core strengthening. I'm just going to turn to the side. You don't have to do this. We're only going to do it for about 10, 15 seconds. So it's the beginner boat. Your feet are on the floor to start. You can see that my body's in an incline, and I'm just going to do my best, hands around the back of my thighs to lift up straight through the torso. That can be enough sometimes. And if you want to, you can lift your feet. But lifting up nice and straight, using your hands around your legs to pull your arms back. And then we'll come out of that position and we're going to move over onto all fours for a few things. And again, if you like, you can pad your knees with, maybe you have a folded towel or blanket already. If you don't, you can just roll your mat a little bit wherever your knees are. Fold your mat there. Coming down onto your hands and knees, and just with a little wiggle through the hips from side to side. Starting to feel into that area of your body. For some people, again, that's one of the tightest areas in the lower back and hips. Taking your time to loosen up here with some nice circling movements. And go in the opposite direction. Again, just do whatever feels right for you. And help the breath to stay nice and slow and steady. Reaching your hips back. On your next inhale, you could come forward slightly and just do that back and forth movement a few times with your breath. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. And then we'll come right into the tabletop position as you come back. And so your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. This time arching into the cat pose on your exhalation. And on your inhale, slowly curl through a beautiful wave-like motion through your spine. Continue to flow with your breath. Maybe you're using the Ujjayi breath throughout your practice, the breath that you can hear. The sound of breath is a good way to help to slow everything down. It creates a steadiness of the breath. And let's do the cat-cow for about 3 more breaths. If your hands or wrists get achy or tired, you can always make fists here. Or you can come up onto your fingertips, especially for that cat-cow pose, or the cat pose, I mean. Awesome. We're going to do one more thing in this position. If you'd like to just stretch your right leg back with your toes curled under, keeping your toes on the mat for now, and just press back with your heel. And feel that nice stretch in your calf. Good. From here, you can leg strengthen. You can bring your leg parallel to the floor in line with your hip. And then slowly release. We'll do the other side. And you keep your toes curled under and press back with your heel, stretching your leg. When you're ready, you can slowly lift that leg just to hip height. And then slowly bringing it back down. Let's curl the toes under and walk the hands back in towards you. We're going to do a bit of a wrist stretch, a counter stretch for that pose that we were just doing. And it's just lightly pressing the hands down. So my fingers are pointing towards me, palms facing out. And I'm just lightly bringing the fingers, the palms down to the floor. Not all the way, unless you want to. Good. We'll bring the hands back to a normal position, fingertips on the floor to start to transition. For some of you, holding the squat. For some of you, transitioning right up to standing, however you need to. So we're just taking a moment in the squat to help the lower back release, opening the hips and the pelvis. It's a great pose to keep the mobility in the knees and also the feet and ankles. You can eventually bring your feet right down. It might take time. And pausing here. All right, we'll bring the hands down and start to lift the hips up. Let's come into a half forward bend. And you can keep your knees bent here. On your next exhalation, you can start to straighten your legs and even just sliding your hands. They can stay around the thighs. They can stay just below the knees and just start to lengthen out here. So we're just doing a half forward bend for now. And then we'll bend the knees, slide the hands to the thighs, come up, and we'll we're activated through the legs. Let's keep that as we come into the chair pose. Good. From chair, we'll slowly come back down, hands on the thighs, come back to that half forward bend. This time, starting to come all the way down. And again, you can keep your knees bent if your legs are really tight, or you can start to straighten your legs a bit more. Good. From here, we'll do a little bit of a twist. We'll bring the right hand to the lower back. And then we'll switch. Slowly bring the left hand to the lower back. And come slowly back up to center, hands on your thighs, reaching through your arms as you inhale. Looking up for a moment. Exhale, hands together and down at your heart. Okay, I'm just going to take a few steps towards the top of my mat. If you'd like to do the same, we're going to start flowing through the sun salutations. We'll try for a few rounds. And this sequence is obviously one of the most popular ones. It's really awesome to warm up your body, especially on a very cold day like today. It gets the inner fire stoked a bit more. But we want to go at our own pace. So if you are familiar and you like to go more quickly than I do or more slowly, that's totally your option. I'm going to start off slowly, and yeah, don't feel like you need to keep up. So we're going to start in the mountain pose. And take a few breaths just to reconnect to feeling that connection down through the legs and out through the soles of the feet. I like to bend and straighten my legs a few times just to keep those leg channel, the energy of the legs open and flowing. As we bend the legs, we're in more of a passive position and we're receptive to the energy. As we straighten the legs, there's a bit of pushing down through the bottom of the feet, and we're releasing the energy down. Okay. So coming back to more traditional mountain pose, we'll, with the next inhalation, reach the arms straight up towards the sky. I'm just going to hold it here for a few breaths. So as we flow today, I'm not going to flow with each breath into a different posture. I'm going to hold, at least for the first time. And on your exhalation now, start to release your arms, come into a flowing posture all the way down with your arms and your head into standing forward bend. On your next breath in, come halfway up. And on your next breath out, step the right foot back. I'm going to stay as a modification for some people who are not quite ready to come all the way down. You can stay in the standing lunge. If you'd like to, you can come right down into the lower lunge. So here we're just working on opening the legs and the hips. So you can press back with that back heel wherever you are. Reaching your arms back for a moment if you're in the standing version. And on your next breath in, you can inhale and come up with your arms. And then exhale and come down. I'm going to straighten that front leg for a moment as I start to transition down. And then I'm going to bend that front knee and come more into the lunge. If you'd like to bring that knee down, you can. And then come back to center, or come back to the full lunge, looking back and sliding your front foot back. I like to come into plank here for a few breaths. You can come into the full plank or the half plank. Good, holding for one more breath. When you're ready, bring your knees down if they're not already. You can slide your hips back. And then we'll come forward again into the half plank and bend your elbows, tuck them in at your sides and start to lower down onto your belly. Releasing your legs. And again, like we've done before, you might come into the Sphinx with your elbows right underneath your shoulders, or you might come into the Cobra with your hands underneath your shoulders. Tucking your elbows in at your sides. You can come up and hold for a few breaths. Remember just to be at your own place. And then slowly coming back down. And just slide your hands down a little bit more. Curl your toes under. Pressing through your hands and arms. Lifting up. Arching through your spine in the table position. Preparation to come up into downward facing dog. Or again, modified half dog puppy pose. From the knees. If you're in downward dog, you can walk your legs out, alternate bending the knees, pressing the heels down. Taking a few breaths here. Wiggling through the hips. You can even stretch up through one leg. I'm stretching up through the right leg. And then you can decide if you'd like to bring that foot right in from that. This is a bit advanced, but you can flow that foot right forward, or from downward dog, drop down with the knees and slowly bring that right foot forward. And I'm just going to transition back up to the standing pose, the standing lunge or warrior one. Reaching back with the arms for a moment, planting that back heel, reaching through the arms as they come up. And then for a moment, exhale, bring the hands to the thigh, straightening the legs, pulling the hips back. And then we'll come into the lunge for a moment and drop that back knee. Stay lifted here. Come into that lifted leg position, the lower lunge, to bring both feet together. Half standing forward bend. On your next breath out, you can sink your upper body down. Standing forward bend. And then slowly coming back up. If you need to for your lower back, press into your thighs to come up. Reaching through your arms, looking up for a moment. And as you exhale, hands together at your heart. Pausing in the mountain for a few breaths. I want to integrate all of that. Good. I'm going to do about the exact same thing that we just did. And again, you can get creative at home, however you'd like to flow through that series of postures. So again, we're starting in the mountain, hands at the heart. With your next breath in, reaching your arms up. And with your next breath out, we're going to flow. So you can come into the half forward bend again, but if you'd like to, you can come all the way down. And then coming halfway up if you're not already. This time we're going to step back with the left foot and we're going to come into the warrior one position just for a moment. The right knee bent, hips facing forward in line with that front foot. Reaching your arms back for a moment. This time I might even interlace the hands together, holding that for a few breaths. And then releasing the arms down. Next breath in, reach up. Keep your feet rooting down to the earth. Keep your sense of stability here. And then on your next exhalation, bring your hands to your thigh, come into like a half pyramid pose, straightening the legs. And then if you want to, you can reach right down, slide your left foot back a bit more to come into the lunge. You can always drop down through that back knee. With the toes curled under, it provides a bit more of a stretch too for your thigh. Okay, let's come back up with that knee looking back at your back foot. Lifting your hips, sliding your right foot back, coming into the plank. You can drop down with your knees. And you can hold that full plank pose. Okay, let's all drop down with the knees, hips go back. So like extended child's pose for a moment. And then coming forward, lowering down onto your belly. Take your time. Don't rush. Unless you want to create more heat, then you would go a little bit faster. So we're just doing our back bend of the day, Sphinx or Cobra. Pausing here. If you're doing Cobra, make sure the elbows come in at the side. And yeah, it feels good. It feels comfortable for the lower back. You can always come down. Good. We'll all come down, rest for a moment. Slide the hands down a little bit more, pushing into the mat to lift up into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. It's where we come into a bit of a pause. And if you'd like to, you can add the left leg lifting up. Pressing the right heel down. And then we start to lower down. You can come down onto your knees, or you can slide that left foot right forward. But a modified way to do that is to come up and then to slide, come up with your upper body. Good, we'll stay in the lunge here. Good. So this is kind of like a slow to medium pace Sun Salutation. You can slow it down even more on your own time, with your own practice. Or you could quicken it up. So we're going to come into the standing forward bend, bring that front or back foot forward, half forward bend. Oh, there we've got the beautiful sunshine again. The rays of light. And as you exhale, sinking down. Good. And then we're going to plant the feet down, bend the knees, really use the legs to support you up to standing, reaching through the arms. You probably can't see me anymore. That's okay. We're just lifted through the arms, opening here. And then we're going to slowly bring the hands down to the heart. We're going to pause in the mountain for a few breaths. You might notice that your heart rate's quickened a little bit. Your body might feel a little bit warmer. Hopefully a little bit looser. And you can think of that light that shines from within. Maybe you could think of it as the light that comes right from your heart center. Beautiful. It could be a color starting to shine brighter. You're holding this space for a few more breaths, just to allow that light to radiate out, just like the rays of sunshine that you can see on the video here. Just imagine that light being turned on the inside a little bit brighter. It's being turned up and starting to shine. right through every part of you, and it goes beyond. And with that light, you might experience feelings of happiness and joy or peacefulness. Just noticing whatever you are currently experiencing right now. And we're just going to step sideways. So pose where we're shining again, like the star. So reaching your arms out, legs wide, opening through your heart center. So lift your heart, lift your chest, even lift your chin slightly. Take a few breaths like this. And then slowly reach your arms up and connect them right together, pointing your index finger straight up over your head. Good. With your next exhalation, start to come down into a wide-legged forward bend. And again, if you'd like to rest your hands on your thighs, you can. You can bring your hands right down. You can use blocks to support your hands. And on your next breath in, coming back up, hands on your thighs, reaching through your arms. This time, bring your palms together. Let's walk the heel toes in. And just take a moment to, again, feel the soles of your feet rock from the back, the heel towards the toes. Start to transition down onto your mat. Having anything you need for final relaxation. And maybe that's a pillow, whatever you need here. We've got another 6 minutes or so. So we're going to come down slowly, rolling onto your back. So you can stop for a moment on your lower back before you come all the way down. Just feel into your lower back, roll slowly, lengthening your spine as you come down. And you can also lengthen to the back of your neck, holding onto your head for a moment, letting your elbows widen out to the sides. So you're supporting your head right before it comes all the way down. You can bring your head all the way down. And I'm going to start to rock through the legs a little bit more. You can let your arms come out to the sides. You can have your feet as close together or as wide apart as you'd like as you slowly flow your legs. Knees bent, rocking from side to side. Good. And anytime you want to hold, pause in the side lying twist. Take a moment or two and hold that position. Come back to center slowly, and then lower your legs to the other side. Or you might keep flowing from side to side. It's totally up to you. And just remember that you can always flow on inspiration here. You can, if you're watching the video, the recorded version, you can always pause the video and take a bit longer. Do a few more postures before we do Shavasana. And slowly come back to center with the legs. For one more pose, let's bring the right ankle onto the front of the left thigh. You can keep it there. You can press gently with your right hand, or you can loop your hands behind your left knee and bring your legs in. This is always a pose that I find I need to do. Maybe by now you're starting to have a collection of your favorite postures that you know keep your body free from tension generally. And then we'll slowly release that side. You can bring both feet back down and bring your other ankle onto the front of your thigh. And if you wish to, you can bring those legs in. Sometimes we do a little rock from side to side too. And we're just keeping our eyes closed. And tuning back towards the feeling of your breath. We'll slowly release that side. Maybe do just one more thing, just tucking the knees both in towards the chest. A little rock from side to side, helping to release your lower back. And then you can release that, let your legs come out. And it's up to you if you want to bend your knees, keep them bent, slide something underneath your thighs. Do whatever variation of Shavasana that feels good today. We'll be here for about 3 or 4 minutes. Just allowing your body to sink down. Feel the back of your body sink. Let your legs go comfortably heavy. Let your arms go comfortably heavy. Feel the backs of your shoulders sink down a bit more. Softening through your jaw, teeth apart. Soften all the muscles of your face. Breath is breathing you now. Surrendering. Releasing control over everything. Even just for these last few moments. Creating space in your body, all this freedom, this openness. And that directly affects the mind. So there's space in the mind as well. before you come out, just taking a moment to appreciate wherever you are and have gratitude for your body, all parts of your body. Smiling. And starting to slowly reach your arms up. Right over your head, you can come into a nice full body stretch. Stretching your toes, reaching through your toes, your heels. And then you can release that and roll over to your side, pausing there for a few moments. With our practice, we obviously become more mindful throughout our practice, and that can spill over onto your day. So with a bit more awareness for how we move throughout our day now, we can make conscious choices for what we do and how we do it. So we're not just on autopilots all the time like we generally do. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and we'll